Okay, minimize that. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is gonna be hard to read. What am I doing with my life? Welcome back, friends. Welcome back, friends. I'm RonMan, and today we're gonna take a look at King of Dragons for Super Nintendo. King of Dragons is a medieval beat-em-up developed by Capcom and published in 1991 for the arcades, and ported to Super Nintendo in 1994. Now, in this review, we're taking a look at the Super Nintendo version, not the arcade. Although they're very similar, but not quite. So the story goes a little something like this. Gildas, a large red dragon, is terrorizing the Kingdom of Malice. The king sent an army to kill the dragon, yet instead, every troop was murdered. Word on the street is that some of the troops were decapitated and their heads were shoved up their butts. Would you like to die that way? I didn't think so. Beyond desperate, the king sought help from the wizard named Gwendon. Gwendon explained that he could put a sleep spell on Gildas, but it would only last 1 year, and when he would awake, he would be stronger than he was before. Desperate, the king said yes. The king had sent hundreds of knights to slay Gildas as he slept, yet none of them returned. At the brink of destruction, a new band of adventurers rise and plan to kill Gildas and save the land, and that is where our adventure begins. There are 5 playable characters and 16 levels. During the game, you will find equipment which will boost your stats, though the equipment is different depending on which character you're playing as. Also, you'll level up through the game, and this is achieved by reaching certain point milestones. When you level up this way, your HP and the strength of your magic also increases. You earn points by collecting gold, jewels, various treasures, attacking and killing enemies. To regain HP, you'll collect mostly food, and it's usually fruit, and there are some potions. Each character can use magic. This is done by pressing X, although it does drain a little bit of health, but that's common for beat-em-ups. Each character is a little different from the others, and they all have their own pros and cons. The elf is the quickest character and has the best range, as his weapon is the bow. This can be a huge advantage because you're able to shoot enemies from afar, therefore making some bosses much easier. Also, he's small, which means his hitbox is smaller, which means enemies have a harder time hitting him. The elf, however, does less damage to enemies and his defense is the worst in the game. He also can't equip a shield, which means his defense never increases. The equipment the elf will acquire are bows and arrows. The bows will increase the fire rate, and the arrows increase the attack strength. Moving on to the wizard. First off, the wizard's magic is the strongest in the game, obviously. He has the second best range, and by the third upgrade, he becomes the strongest in the game as his damage and speed ratio is better than the others. So the wizard is like the best character in the game, but he does have flaws. Again, no shield, but the amulet upgrades will increase his defense. Fun fact, the wizard is primarily used in speedruns. The fighter is pretty strong in most areas, he's faster than everyone else, except the elf, and gains HP the quickest. He has the second strongest attack and has good defense. By having a shield, you may block attacks. You can actually select to use the shield manually, but I suck at using it, so I usually just leave it to auto. This is done in the options menu at the beginning of the game. Unfortunately, the fighter has the weakest magic. The cleric has a good attack, good magic, and the best defense. The cleric also has the highest attack speed and levels up the fastest. On the other hand, the cleric is the biggest, making him an easier target. Also, his jump is the worst. So the thing with jumping, when you jump, you're harder to hit. You're not invincible, but it's a good strategy to use if you want to avoid taking damage. But with the cleric, he has a poor jump and he has a huge hitbox, so he ends up being a pretty good target for enemies. But he does have a lot of HP, the best defense, and a shield, so it kind of balances there. Overall, he's great. If you're new to King of Dragons, I highly recommend using the cleric. So the dwarf is the smallest character and has the best jump, so therefore he has a small hitbox and he spends the most time in the air. He's not very strong, has weak magic, and has the worst range in the game. Luckily though, he does have a shield. So those are the characters. I think they're all fun to use, and having so many playable characters really gives this game good replay value. Once you've selected your character, you'll begin traveling through the Kingdom of Malice. There are 16 levels, and that's a lot for a beat 'em up. The trade-off here is that those levels are a lot shorter. As far as graphics, they look great. There are so many different locations. You'll venture through plains, mountains, forests, beaches, ruins, caves, creeks, towers, and castles. The enemy variety is also huge. You'll fight orcs, wolfmen, minotaurs, mummies, wraiths, lizardmen, skeletons, slime, mimics, cyclopses, and of course dragons. This game is just packed to the brim with things to kill, places to see, and characters to play as. I should also mention that the music for this game is just phenomenal. I love this game's music. Throughout your journey, you'll occasionally run across non-playable characters who will provide you with story details. Oh look, a tree. You know, I love talking trees. They're always just so wise and sophisticated, and they possess a level of knowledge which is invaluable to the player. I also love hearing, well in this case reading, Old English. You know, take the Great Deku Tree for example. That tree is the smartest character in Ocarina of Time. Right off the bat he knows what Ganondorf is up to and explains the dire situation to Link. Link is informed of his quest and it really sets the mood. Oh, thanks, buddy. I really didn't think an ancient tree would say something like that. Yeah, this tree's not that sophisticated. Sorry. Check this out. So you kill this boss, and then this guy shows up after the fact. Where the f*** were you before? I could have used you during the boss. He's probably f***ing hiding behind some crates, like, I gotta talk to him, but I gotta wait till he kills that guy. I really like the Great Dragonian. I like his design, and I love that shield. Put a huge f***ing spike on the front. He looks like, Goldar, Power Rangers. That's who he looks like. He looks like Goldar. Between levels, you're shown a world map. I love this world map. When I was a kid playing this, I had an active imagination, and this map always had me wondering about the possibilities in this game, where the next level would take place, and what enemies I'd face off against. Although I've seen everything this game has to offer, I still think this map screen is awesome. Even the names of the levels can trigger imagination. Treasure in an old castle. Fan theory. I got a fan theory. Check this out. This tree here is actually the Great Deku Tree. Like before he went to college. And that is Link. Dude, this is a Zelda game. This is a Zelda beat-em-up game. That's what this is. I mean, let's be real. This is before Link got the sword. He's got the fairy bow. He's got the green tunic on. He meets the Deku Tree. So after all that praise, does this game have any downfalls? Well, yes. First off, this game can be pretty challenging. Admittedly, I'm a casual player of this game. I played this game on easy for years until I finally beat it. The gameplay footage that you're seeing now in this video is played on normal. There's also a hard difficulty, but I'm not ready for that yet. Check this out. This fight here, look at this. Yeah, that was annoying. Although sometimes you can get lucky and you can pull shit off like this. Also, sometimes the frame rate will suffer when there are too many enemies on screen. Like the Hydra fight, for example, can have a lot of slowdown. And really, that's it for downfalls. And really, even those are just kind of nitpicks more than actual major criticism. Before I wrap up, I do just want to give you guys a few tips to help you with King of Dragons should you want to play it. First off, there are credit tokens that you can find throughout the game. As far as I can tell, there are only 3. And they're not always in the same location, but they always seem to be hidden behind the foreground like this. So when you're playing, make sure to look out for these because they are a huge help. Now, I feel like I don't need to mention this, but I will anyway. When you get frozen or trapped in slime, mash buttons to break free, otherwise your health will drain. You'd be surprised with how many of my friends come over and play this and they get trapped like this and they do this. What's happening? Why are they doing that? You're supposed to mash to break free. Well, I didn't know I had to do that. Yeah. So, yeah, you can do that. Now, if you've played this game so much and you're really good at it and you just want an extra challenge, you can actually choose to not pick up the weapon upgrades. And finally, this game is 2-player. You have to choose separate characters, although with the cheat code, you may both select the same character. While the Capcom logo is present, press down, right shoulder button, up, left shoulder button, Y, B, X, A. If you did it properly, the screen will flash blue. So that's King of Dragons for Super Nintendo. It looks great, it sounds great, there's tons of enemies, tons of levels, 5 playable characters which all add their own flavor, so to speak, and overall it's just a really fun game. There is a bit of slowdown at times and the game can be pretty challenging, but overall, I give King of Dragons a 9 out of 10. Now, I just want to give a shout out to Nick P. He's a really good buddy of mine, and he's played this game with me for years and years, and the first time I ever beat King of Dragons was actually with him, so shout outs to you. Thank you all for watching. Please hit subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next review.